Welcome everybody to my craft room. You would have seen before and after pictures before this one. Mintie has just joined me to say hello. He's a beautiful boy. We call him our big fat chocolate wombat. He used to be creamy white when he was a baby, and he's got more and more chocolate coloured as he's gotten older. And he's a big boy. Twice as big as his sister from a different mother, who he likes to chase around the place and assert his dominance. Because usually when I'm trying to sit on my craft room chair, he thinks that that's his spot. So we have strong disagreements about who gets to sit in the chair. But what I wanted to show you today was my very first rice bag. Now I have to confess to being guided in this process by the lovely Corinne from To Be Loved Treasures. Looks like Mintie wants to be front and centre. And I was very excited to find out about Corinne's Harvey Bay retreat this year, and went along, and it was just amazing. 4 days of stitching is like every woman's dream. Well, when you love what we love. So I met some wonderful people. We did some great work together, and we started on our ocean rice bag while we were with Corinne. That was our project for the week. Just hoping that Mintie doesn't knock the camera over. So one of the things that Corinne encouraged us to do was a fish. And this little fella has been painted, stitch painted. Thanks, Mintie. We'll use your back as a stand, seeing you won't move out of the way. This took me nearly 2 days just to make the fish. Hence, I did not get my other rice bag finished. So over the next few videos, I'm going to grab that out and show you all where I'm up to with that. But I just love this process of making the rice bag, and they are just so useful. So some of the things in this rice bag are what came in our kit at Corinne's retreat. This was just amazing, the little pin cushion, especially designed for nasty needles that we do beading with. Nobody wants one of them in their foot, so our needles had to go back. Now my journey, thanks Mintie, here we go again. How about you move over? Move over and don't be such a pain. I better get rid of the nasty needle, otherwise you will sit on it. So this was one of my first slow stitching projects. Last year I started a little group called Dilly Dally with Doilies, and our first project was making this needle book, which all the ladies loved so much that this year we have continued. We meet every second Monday night, called DWD, Dilly Dally with Doilies, and the ladies have just done an amazing job. But what we've been making this year, so last year we made the needle book, this year we are actually making a stitch journal, and that process has been guided by Roxy's Journal of Stitchery and Roxy Creation with Sarah and Rachel, and the occasional popping in of Juju. So I will try and put these other YouTube names at the bottom of my post. This is all very new for me, so we'll give it a go. So yes, I do watch a lot of Corinne's, try to keep up with all of her videos. I haven't started on her Timeless Curiosities. I'm not sure that I will get to that because I have another really special project. I have a little adopted granddaughter in the place where I live because her real grandma lives in Brisbane, so I am considered to be her mum's chinchilla mum, and I spend quite a lot of time with Georgie. She has Rett syndrome, so she has lots of challenges at the moment and leading into her future. So I want to make a little book, a cloth book, based on the ones that Roxy's Journal of Stitchery have done over the last little while. And it's going to be called Where is Bear? Because Georgie's now got a little brother called Henry and his nickname is Bear. So I'm going to try and make this special book with lots of textures for Georgie because she loves to feel things. And yeah, so that's my next project. So I really don't want to take on another project until I get this done. Because Bear, believe it or not, is now nearly 12 weeks old, and I had this thought before he was born, and we're still going. So there we are. That's how it is. So lots of projects in the making. I have to confess that I have not really fully unpacked my big bag that I took over to the retreat, and we're like at least a month post. So that's a job I want to do, and I have a really special box of goodies that was gifted to me by a lady who was leaving town. So people get to know what you do in a small town. So we have a population of about 8,000 people, and people know that I upcycle things, that I love slow stitching, and so a lot of doilies, lace tablecloths, all sorts of things come my way. So I spend a lot of my time sorting, and maybe you will see that process. I have lots of different wools and yarns, crochet cotton. Oh my goodness, how much crochet cotton can be in one small town. And I do share all of this with my lovely ladies at Dilly Dally with Doilies. But I'm also looking at doing up packs to put in my little Etsy shop, which is not very exciting at this moment, but hopefully over the next little while it will get better. So something that happened recently, we have a little flat that a friend of mine lives in on our same property here, and it was time that I actually did the clean out. She's been living there for 8 years, and we actually lived there before we moved into our nice new home, and I had forgotten that I still had things in the cupboard over there, which is a bit rude of me. So when my daughter was home, we went over to the flat and started cleaning out the cupboards over there. And now I have to confess, I found 10 100% pure wool blankets, which some were my mum's, some were ours when our children were small, some were my husband's mother's. And so I fully intend to cut those up and also put them on Etsy, because nobody really wants wool blankets anymore, but they're so beautiful to work through when you're slow stitching. So that's another project. So I don't just do slow stitching. I also love to machine stitch. So my ongoing project at the moment is making 18th birthday quilts for my grandchildren. I have 9 grandchildren. So far, 4 of them have already turned 18. So I made them each a quilt, always a queen size quilt. I've also, in that same period of time, made 2 wedding quilts for my granddaughters that got married. And so I have been a bit busy, but I've got another grandson who will be 18 at the end of October, so I've started his. So one of the YouTubers that I follow for my machine stitching is Missouri Star Quilt Company. Now they were the first ones, my daughter introduced me to them, and they're the first YouTubes I ever watched before I even started watching slow stitch videos from all the lovely people like Karen at Railway Cottage Studio. I also watch a lot from Create and Craft with Christine, plus the ones I've already mentioned. And to hone some new stitches, I've also watched Sarah Humphrey Embroidery. So it just so happened towards the end of 2024, my daughter was travelling to Chicago for a work conference, and I said to her, how far away is that from Hamilton in Missouri? She said, I don't know, Mum. So I Googled it. It was like 500 miles. Oh my goodness, was I excited. So I actually had the privilege to fly to Hamilton in Missouri, and it was nice to have my daughter there to work through all the custom stuff and all that. But what an amazing privilege it was to spend a week in a little Airbnb. It was November, so it was cold, but I didn't see the snow. My daughter did in Chicago, but of course it didn't snow in Hamilton. But such an amazing transformation of that little town. So I am, for the 18th birthday for my grandson, which I might get to show you, I'm doing tiny wonky stars that has been aired by Missouri Star Quilt Company, because he's like a non-fussy kid. So black background with fancy stars in Formula 1 colours is that quilt. So I do lots of different types of craft. I also do crochet, and trying to get back into knitting, because knitting seems to stir up pain in my hands a bit more so than crochet. So on my crochet journey over the last few years, I've just learned how to do mosaic crochet. So that might be something, I can show you some of the things I've made in that, and I'm currently making a blanket because that's something easy to do in front of the telly at night. So I absolutely love my life in Chinchilla. We have 5 acres on the creek, on Charlie's Creek, and wonderful bird life, and our two little furry companions. This one, Mintie plus Marshmallow, but we also have some sheep, who at the moment have babies. So hopefully I can get some footage of the lambs, which are just growing daily before my eyes. My goodness, they grow quick. So I hope to share some of my life here in a small country town, and some of the things that I do. And I hope to see more of you all sometime soon. Thank you for listening. Bye.